Hey folks, John Hagman with Wolftrack Energy here. Today we're going to be talking about how to monitor your solar energy production using the MyEnlighten app from Enphase Energy. So let's get started. So say you just installed a solar energy system on your roof or in your yard and you're really interested in tracking its progress, how much energy you're producing from your panels. That's where the Enphase system is really handy. Enphase, they make these devices called microinverters. If you remember from our solar explanation video that we did before, inverters are the devices that convert the direct current electricity produced by your panels into alternating current electricity that you get from your outlets in your house. So a microinverter is actually connected to each individual panel in your system. And ultimately, this means you're better able to monitor how each panel in your system is doing, how much energy it's producing, and whether there might be a problem in one part of your array. So you're able to do all of that, kind of monitor your system through the MyEnlighten app, which we're going to talk about today. But first, we should talk about how you actually get access to your MyEnlighten account. Now, people are, pretty excited, obviously, once we install their system and they are ready to start seeing how it's producing right after we leave, But there are a couple steps in between us installing the system and actually going live that need to be taken care of. So first off, an electrical inspector needs to come by and make sure that everything was done properly on our end. And then the utility actually needs to commission your system before it can go live. Then once it's running and it's live for at least 24 hours, uninterrupted, Enphase will send the property owner a activation email to get them access to the MyEnlighten account. So we really like to preach patience at this part of the process because depending on how busy the electrical inspector is, how busy the utility is, it can take 2 to 3 weeks in between installation and actually going live for you to be, able to monitor how your system is going. So really, we know people are excited to see their system up and running. We understand that, but also there are a couple steps that need to happen first. So now let's actually get into the MyEnlighten app, see some real-time solar data, and identify any kind of troubleshooting issues that might come up. So let's take a look at my computer. Okay, so here we can see kind of the dashboard for the MyEnlighten app. Here we can see that our system is normal. Here's today's date, last time this was updated. Here we're seeing how much energy we produced on a given day. Here it's showing what we did today and yesterday. We can tell that we did a little bit better yesterday than we did the day before in terms of the amount of kilowatt hours that we produced on our system. It's about 4:30 today, so this is about all the energy we can expect to be produced today now that the sun's starting to go down. Over here we can see that our Envoy device, this is our communications module that transmits the data that's collected by the microinverters underneath the solar panels to the MyEnlighten app. So this is what's responsible for giving us this data. And everything seems to be normal with that. Also, we have our microinverters. There's 30 microinverters with this system. Everything seems to be normal with them. And here we can get a general idea how much electricity we actually produced. 1.3 kilowatt hours. What does that actually mean? It means we can power a 100 watt light bulb for 13 hours. Also means we can run a refrigerator for 7 hours. 1.3 kilowatt hours, not a ton of electricity. When you put it in that kind of context, but depending on where the system was today, it might have been a pretty cloudy day. There might be some snow on these panels. So without knowing too much more than that, that's what we can kind of glean from the data that we're seeing here. So if we move over to the energy tab, we can see kind of in 15-minute intervals, how much power we're producing at a given time during the day. We can go back in time, we can see that trend line, that during the middle of the day, things are sunny, our system is soaking up those rays. Here we can see a drop off. There might have been clouds that came over the sky at this part of the day. We can also take a look at different weeks. Week by week, how did we do? If we go back in time here, we did really well on the 3rd, 16.2 kilowatt hours. We can even take a month view. What did we do for January? What did we do in December? Do that for an entire year. This system's only been online since October, so we don't have a ton of data yet here, but obviously you can get the idea that we can really kind of see the trend in our system as we gather more data. And you can do a custom date range here to see, let's see, match the billing cycle. So if you wanted to say, every time you get billed per month by your utility, your power company, then you can kind of set that up that way. So now if we go, well, first let's go over to the grid view. This gives us just another way of kind of looking at the energy we produced. It's taking a second to load up here for some reason. And we can see that here's all the days right here, Tuesday to a couple weeks ago. And we can see that here on Monday the 3rd, there wasn't any sun up at 6:30 in the morning, obviously, but as the day progresses, here's what we're doing at noon. We're gathering a lot of energy from the sun. So this is just another way to visualize this data. Now if we go over to our array, we can kind of get an idea real time what each individual panel is doing in our system. So we have our panels here. This one seems to be doing a lot better than basically everything else. Could be a lot of reasons for that. Guessing, just total guess, is that there's some sun or some snow cover here that is preventing these panels from gathering a lot of sun. And that's why, maybe it blew off on this corner. Maybe there's some melt going on. Because as we go back in time, maybe there was a more clear day. Yeah, see, as we get closer to the new year, we're seeing these panels are producing a lot more energy. After Christmas, I believe we got a lot of snow. So that's probably, see, on Christmas Day, we got a good amount of energy produced from our system here. So yeah, we can get a good sense of what's going on each individual panel from what is being reported here on the MyEnlighten app. If we go to the right-hand corner over here, we can see any alerts, any notices that Enphase wants to send us will end up here. We also have a help section that Enphase provides. And I should mention that Enphase has a lot of support information on their website that you're obviously encouraged to check out if there's a issue or a question that you have. So that's there right in the MyEnlighten app as well. You can chat with somebody from Enphase using this tool, or there is a contact us section right here with Enphase support as well as your installer, which is us. So WolfTrack, we actually have a lot of this data on our end. It doesn't look like this, but we do have access to this data on our end. So if you call us with a question or problem, we're able to pull it up take a look and see what's happening. But we're going to look at another system that has some notices on it, and we're going to kind of show you why those might not be as dire or as worrisome as they might appear on this app. So let's take a look at that. All right, so here we have a system error with this particular system. We can see that 21 of our 24 microinverters have an error. If we click on that, we get a little bit more detail. Here we see that there's a production issue, microinverter not reporting. These kind of highlight some common errors that we might find on the MyEnlighten app. Microinverters not reporting, no power, and DC voltage too low are some of the more common errors that we see. And really these may mean that you're simply not getting enough sun to your panels, whether that's due to snow or leaves or other obstructions that you might have. And most of the time these errors will resolve themselves. You also might run into communications issues if the Wi-Fi signal has been affected. But here we can see that that is not the case. The Wi-Fi is active and we're all good to go there. You also might see some data transmission delays if you have a cell card with your system. But the important thing to remember is that just because your system isn't communicating with your app doesn't mean you're not producing power, which is all, that's what the ultimate goal here is. But if the weather is clear and your panels aren't covered and you're still finding some issues, it might be time to contact the installer. But really in our experience, the Enphase products are very reliable and you aren't likely to run into major equipment issues. Really these are probably, I'm guessing, again, another shot in the dark here, but I'm guessing that this is a snow cover issue. We can take a look at the array here and we can see that we're not getting any energy reported here. If we go back in time a little bit, again, if we go back to, here we go, Christmas. Again, I believe we had a good snowstorm right around this time of the year, and it looks like it just slowly started covering up those panels. And they may just not have had the chance to clean them off, or the wind hasn't taken the snow off, etc., etc. Usually snow will either just blow off or eventually it'll melt off. You can also kind of take matters into your own hands with a Snow Pro head. It's kind of a foam broom head that you can put on a telescoping pole and kind of clean off that snow from your panels, making sure that you're getting all that sunlight, converting that into electricity. And again, if you contact the installer, us, we can do some things remotely on our end, and if we can't resolve or identify the issue on our end, we may have to send out a technician. But again, just because there's a red dot or a scary sounding alert that you're getting from Enphase doesn't necessarily mean that your system is faulty. It just may mean that there's some kind of communications or obstruction or some kind of other minor issue that's going on. Again, this is the Enphase MyEnlighten app. Hopefully this gives you a good overview of what you can expect when you start monitoring your performance using the Enphase system. Again, my name is John Hagman with Wolftrack Energy. If you liked this video, please subscribe to our channel for more solar tips. Again, thanks for watching.